We grew up without any need, but not extravagant by any means. So we never went out to like really fancy restaurants or anything like that. So it's kind of crazy that I own a fancy restaurant and I'm all about fancy food or, simple food, fresh food, whatever. My grandmother, I remember her making really good cornbread and this stewed chicken and like a really good chickeny broth. And my brother was a cook, a chef. He had gone to Rhode Island School of Design and got a degree.
Yeah.
He was in Birmingham and he just said, you ought to try it. And I got it. And I started cooking and it was something that I really liked. I've been cooking a long time. I'm from Charleston originally, worked in restaurants there. That's where I met my wife. And she was a Conway resident. So that's what brought us here. And we opened in '94 and it was constant growth. We hit the ground running and we got better and better at everything across the board and got a local following, and it's just blossomed into sitting here with you today.
I'm Devyn Whitmire. People from South Carolina, like myself, are proud of their state and everything it has to offer. But even we don't know every nook and cranny. So we're traveling to the most unique places in the Palmetto State. Some of them even we've never heard of. From Discover South Carolina, it's the Palmetto Porch.
Today, we're in Conway, hanging out with Chef Darren Smith, a South Carolina chef ambassador and the head chef at Rivertown Bistro. His passion for farm-to-table dining led him from his grandma's kitchen to running a renowned restaurant at just 25 years old. I'm excited to hear how Rivertown Bistro has grown and how it has helped transform Conway into a must-visit destination.
When did you first realize that you wanted to pursue a career as a chef? Tell us a little bit about that journey and decision.
Well, I never went to culinary school. I went from Winthrop. I toured Johnson & Wales when they had a campus in Charleston.
Uh-huh.
And they said, you have enough credits, you can get an accelerated degree, but you need some practical experience.
Yeah, so more hands-on education.
Yeah, completely.
That age-old question of experience versus degree.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's when Charleston was just starting to get a little buzz in the food scene. There was a restaurant in Mount Pleasant right down from Locklear's called Village Cafe. And Scott Rourke was way before his time. He was a CIA grad. And lucky for me, he opened because I ate there every chance I could get. That I probably learned more eating there than cooking under anybody or reading anything.
So you were really young when you took over here as head chef. Tell us about that. How old were you, and a little bit about the start of Rivertown?
Cindy and I got married in '92. So I was around 24, 25. And that's when we opened here. Mm-hmm. So Cindy and I opened. We were the owners. We just, on a whim, it worked out, but a lot of people didn't think, maybe we were too young. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad it worked. Cindy has a big family, so we knew we'd be busy one night. Everyone had to come that one night. But my vision was to cook what I like to eat. And I had learned a lot already, but I didn't want to overdo it. And I was cooking every meal. So our menu was relatively small. I wanted everything fresh. Luckily, my landlord at the time, George Jenkins, had 6 Mile Farm. And during our process of redoing the restaurant to make it ours, it took us about a month to paint and do stuff. He came in the back door with squash and asparagus and all this stuff in a bus tub. He's like, this is what I'm growing now. So we were farm to table long before that was a moniker.
So can you tell us a little bit about what happened in 2008?
Yeah, we had a fire here. We're not sure really what the cause was. They had a forensic arson specialist. They thought it was probably either the dish machine or chemicals by the dish machine or some wiring in the attic. It was very unfortunate, but in the pursuing years, it allowed us to grow to what we are now. And it's worked out for the best.
What was the rebuilding process like? How did you and your team approach bringing the bistro back to life?
My wife and I, I wanted an open kitchen. I love seeing guests enjoying themselves. She still isn't 100% keen on that. She thinks we're a little noisy back there at times, but it works. So it was she and I, open kitchen. We wanted a 2-story. We're sitting right now in our private room where we do wine tastings, and this seats 36 people. So it's a great spot to have, bridesmaids parties and birthday celebrations. We've seen a lot of people propose. We're definitely a celebratory restaurant, but we're not over the top fancy. That's what I tell people. Our menu prices for the food you get are incredible. We have a world-class wine list, and that was our vision as far as rebuilding and restructuring, is to keep that nice casual vibe. So, and I consider my food creative American cuisine because I use all products locally that I can get my hands on, but I'm not dogmatic. We'll use champagne vinegar and olive oil from Italy and fly in salmon because a lot of people want salmon, and I like really good olive oil. So in that respect, we do probably 80 to 90% local, but we do have other ingredients that I'm proud to serve.
And that's a big part of your role as a South Carolina Chef Ambassador, is supporting local. Can you tell us what that means and some of the responsibilities that come with that title?
While I've always tried to do it, it's having this role has really opened my eyes further. And you do it with a little bit more of a sense of pride. I mean, we wear our aprons that say South Carolina Chef Ambassador Darren Smith. And we were picked by the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Tourism, and our governor. I feel very fortunate to represent not only South Carolina, but my region specifically, and to partner with Shwai and Jeannie in the adventures that we've been on all through the state and across the country.
In your opinion, what makes Conway unique?
It's close enough to Myrtle Beach, but it doesn't have some of the stuff that people go to Myrtle Beach for. We're also in historic Rivertown. The Waccamaw River runs right through it. And I don't know if people know this, but that leads all the way down to Georgetown to the intercoastal. So you can literally put a boat in behind my restaurant, a bonfire, and go to Florida. So that kind of is cool to me. This is fresh water, but it leads to brackish water. And, 20 miles from bonfire, in your boat headed towards Charleston, you got dolphins swimming beside your boat. I can't think of anything prettier. When I opened, we were a real small town, not much food, not much destination dining except for us. And now it's blossomed into some good restaurants. My two, I think, are the best, but that's, I'm a little biased. But yeah, the city, the administration has really put us on the map. We're like a Norman Rockwell little movie type painting thing. They've even renamed Conway the town of Halloween for October. And I'm telling you, if you like Halloween, come here. If you don't, still come here and just look at it all, because it is amazing. They have witches' cauldrons and bats in the trees. And I mean, it's photo op and selfie situation for this day and age. There's some great shopping. There's some antiquing, dining, walking along the river walk of the Waccamaw. They can paddle boats, ride bicycles. I mean, we have a very strong downtown community with a lot of vibrancy and a lot of diversity and some really world-class restaurants. I just want to continue to be here. This is, like I said, a celebratory restaurant, but casual enough where you can come every day. Casual dining, really good service, fun, friendly. Bonfires, a little bit more laid back, a traditional smokehouse.
I have another question for you that is just a curious question of mine. You mentioned as a chef that you appreciate that affirmation of serving someone a good meal and seeing, their response. Is that, do you think, a love language of all chefs, the words of affirmation?
100%. I mean, if you're not in it for that, what are you doing? You should take pride in what you do. I tell my boys and girls every day, your first plate is as good as your last plate. You're only as good as your last meal. So we treat every plate, or we try to, like we're cooking for our family. And that's what I think is very important. In this day and age, there is some negativity with everything. Everyone thinks they're a food critic, there's some of that. But I kind of think, you got to listen to everybody and keep yourself in check and there's always room to get better.
The Palmetto Porch is produced by Discover South Carolina in partnership with Pod People. To find out more about this town and all the towns featured on our show, visit scpalmettoporch.com.